Today we are gonna make super scrumptious roast turkey casserole. Packed with protein, super nutritious, just a few whole fresh foods mixed up together and slung in the oven. And this is something that you can also make ahead of time, like the day before, the morning before, and then bake it for dinner, or the night before and have it for breakfast or brunch or whatever meal you like. So super versatile. Let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is we are going to get our spray. This is avocado, but if you can get coconut spray, that'll work too. And we're going to get a nice big casserole. This is a 4-pint or 2-quart baking casserole, but of course this isn't spraying very well, not spraying well at all. So if you have that problem where it's actually not spraying, it's just dripping, here's what you do. You get your oil in your pan, and you want to grab a pastry brush, and I actually have one that I keep just for oil, and then you just spread that oil. You can also, of course, just tip a little bit of oil out of your oil jug and spread that around instead. So up the sides, along the bottom. This just helps you to get your slices of casserole out cleanly, and it also helps with doing those dishes. So there is my oiled dish. Now I'm going to put that back to one side. What we're going to do now is we are going to chop our ingredients. So we have got our turkey. I'm actually going to do that last just because that's the sticky stuff that's going to make my hand sticky. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to chop our leeks. Now, because this is a casserole and all the ingredients are going to get mixed into and then put in a pan, it does not matter how neat or not your fillings, your vegetables are. So if knife skills are not your superpower, it does not matter. And it also doesn't matter how slow or fast you chop your veggies, they're gonna taste the same. So no prizes for chopping faster. Lots of prizes for still having all of your digits attached at the end of cooking. So just roughly but finely chop your leeks. You do want to try and make the pieces roughly the same size, simply so that they all cook in about the same time. But really, with this one, not super important, although you don't want to end up with someone. I nearly gave myself a manicure there. You don't want to end up with someone getting like a huge 1-inch chunk of leek. So take your time. When your board's full, I'm just going to put all of that in a bowl so I can collect it all up. This recipe is really just a lesson in chopping. If you can get your leeks and your celery already prepared, and if you buy cooked chicken or turkey pieces, then this literally is going to take you about 3 minutes to prepare. If you do have to do your own chopping, then it'll take you a few minutes longer. I actually find chopping very therapeutic, and it does give me a sense that the feeling like I actually created something. But you do you. There are times when I just buy all the pre-prepared things because time is more important, and there's other times where I buy the veggies and prepare them myself. So there's no right or wrong way. If time is more important to you than money one week and money's more important than time another week, then use that as your guide. So we've got our leeks, and now we have our celery. There isn't a ton of celery, it's almost more of a seasoning. So that, for that reason, I would recommend you, when it says chop finely, chopping finely, because you want the pieces to be small enough so that there's celery in every bite. If you don't chop this finely, you're going to end up with a few chunks of celery popping up in a few pieces rather than nicely distributed throughout your casserole. So finely chopped on the celery will give you the best result. You can also use chicken for this. The flavours in here go equally well with chicken or turkey. So if you don't have leftover turkey, or you prefer leftover chicken, then all good. Either will work equally as well. I just really love turkey, and being single for so long means that however small a turkey I got at Christmas or Thanksgiving, there was always a ton of leftovers. So I always had plenty of leftover turkey to create into some delicious fast leftover meals. So there's our finely chopped celery. In with the leeks it goes. Now, confession session. No, actually not. I'm thinking of another recipe. So many recipes, so little time. Dried sage. Dried sage goes in. And then we come to our turkey. So this is my fresh turkey, and I am going to chop this up. And you do want to, again, you want the turkey flavour and the meat evenly distributed throughout what's a pretty large casserole. So I do recommend that you cut the turkey pretty small so that there's an even distribution, so you don't have like huge chunks of turkey and then no turkey. However, you do you. That's my recommendation. is to go for smaller pieces. Because it's a casserole, of course, you don't have to do anything neat with this. And if you're using roast chicken or turkey pieces that are already pre-cut from the store, you might just want to cut them a bit smaller. There again, you might not, but I usually do when I do this recipe with roast chicken or turkey pieces from the store. Clear off my board there, give me some more space. Then I'm going to carry on with my chopping. This is a really good, like if you're new to the kitchen, this is a fantastic recipe to start with because it's pretty much chopping and mixing. Although actually, if you used all pre-prepared things, it's just mixing, because if you don't have to do the chopping, then really all that's left in this recipe is the mixing. So just getting my turkey chopped up. I love this casserole. Clear my board. This is packed with meat, this casserole. And it tastes, if you're wondering, like turkey pot pie. So if that's a favourite for you, you're absolutely going to love this. And if you are looking for a protein-rich meal, one dish, no sides, just a slice of this on your plate, this is going to make you super happy. This is also fantastic hot, it's fantastic cold, it can be made in advance and baked when you need it, it can be made in advance and eaten cold, it transports, it travels brilliantly. You can warm it up in the microwave. This is good for so many things. I love this recipe. Okay, so that is all our chopping done. So we're gonna get rid of our board. So that's our chopping complete. And now what we're going to do is we're going to get a spatula and we are going to add our cottage cheese. Of course, you can vary the amount of fat that's in your version of this. By buying different versions of cottage cheese. I love the small curd, which is typically the fattest cottage cheese there is. I love the flavour of it, and I also love the curd size. So that's what I prefer to use. Whichever cottage cheese you prefer, Just want to mix it in really, really well. It takes a minute to get the cottage cheese to distribute, but once you have, give it a good old mix. We've got the sage and everything all mixed in. We are going to get our casserole and we are going to put all of our turkey, veggie and cheese mix waste not, want not, what my mother always said. We're going to put that there. Got pieces escaping everywhere. And then you just want to spread it out evenly. It will cook more evenly. You'll have no hot and cold spots. So just roughly eyeball it, but just spread your filling out evenly like that. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we've got a bunch of eggs, and what I'm going to do is I am going to whisk up the eggs. I recommend that you crack each egg individually, because if you've got a bad one, you don't want it to be the 8th, and then you've ruined your entire dish. So I always crack them separately. And in they all go. And then I'm going to get my seasonings. And I am going to whisk Now, if you're planning on baking yours immediately, you want your oven preheated to 375F. If you're making this and then baking later, obviously you don't need your oven on now. So I've whisked my eggs and seasonings really, really well. So we're just gonna get rid of all these shells. I find keeping it clean as I go means there's way less clean up at the end. So I've got my casserole and now I'm simply going to pour my egg evenly, and the egg will find its own level. The egg will run down between all the cracks. I'm just gonna get all of that last egg in there. And that is your roast turkey casserole. Before it goes in the oven, so if you're putting this in the fridge overnight, you will just put plastic wrap, cling film over here and then put it in the fridge. And then in the morning or at lunchtime or dinner the next day, you're gonna preheat the oven to 375, take off the plastic wrap, and then you're going to sprinkle the grated Parmesan evenly over the surface like that. A little bit of extra flavor and color. So that's our Parmesan. I'm actually gonna go ahead and bake mine right away. So off to the oven it goes, and there is your roast turkey casserole. It takes about 40 minutes to bake, and it will be golden brown. And if you're still unsure if it looks golden brown, but you just want to make sure it's cooked, you will need a skewer. This is a well-loved skewer, and you'll bring it out of the oven enough and just put the skewer in. When the skewer comes out clean, then it's done. It'll take about 40 minutes. So there is your roast turkey casserole, possibly my favourite way to use up roast turkey. And there we go, simple, easy, fast, delicious. Enjoy.